There are a large number of people across our cultural establishment, even the political establishment, I would say, in fact, it's probably especially the political establishment, who are suffering from what I call cargo cult syndrome. Do you know what I mean by cargo cult syndrome?
You should explain it for people, though.
Okay, so just to summarize and paraphrase, in World War II, there was a plane that would drop supplies on a Pacific island, and the islanders saw, air traffic control, people moving their arms. They saw runways had been drawn, and eventually a plane would come around and drop the food. And after the plane stopped coming, they wanted the food supplies to return. So they drew lines on the ground and they made the hand signals, but they didn't understand why the food was no longer coming. Why were the planes not coming? And it is what happens when people have a very superficial observation of what is happening and assume that they understand it all and they know everything. They don't test themselves. They don't really query. And I see that behavior in a lot of politics. Just today, we had a chancellor who went out and made a whole bunch of announcements. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and said we're delivering growth. That is not how growth is created. Announcements are not policy. But many politicians have just seen that you stand up and you say, we're going to do this, and they imagine that there's an army of minions somewhere that make the thing happen. This is what happened with our immigration policy. The ministers would say, the prime minister would say, we're going to cut immigration, vote for us. And an assumption that we've said it, of course, the people who are responsible for doing it will make it happen. It was complacency. And I hate it because I always felt that immigration in this country was too high, but I did know that we needed to get good people coming in, high-skilled, because other people were leaving and you needed to replace that. It never once crossed my mind that as we were saying, let's have some good high-skilled immigration in limited numbers, that people would use that to wedge the door open and effectively just let anyone who had a good story come in. That needs to be fixed. And just because we got it wrong before doesn't mean that we don't have a right to talk about it anymore. We know more about this than anyone else. We know how to fix it in a way that other parties don't, and we have the will as well, certainly under my leadership. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to get people to see, that the Conservative Party is under new leadership. I am a different person from what we had before. And yes, I was there, when we had those previous governments, but I was working on the inside to stop a lot of nonsense, which is aggravating people out there.